but she's over 400,000.
So, Lori, I might do one.
He practiced on this one. He listened to it.
But I'm just going to have Lori go ahead and start sharing a little bit about maybe what was going on right before Sizzle and before getting there, kind of where this started, if you want to start there.
It was, I guess, the very last day that you could register for Sizzle. I've been very fortunate in my Pampered Chef career where I live that I've been able to associate with a lot of different groups, like Kelly Price's team and Terry Katolik and all those people down there, and Pam Constantino's team with Grace Scott and Chip Lyons and Melissa. It's like amazing friendships.
She's name dropping.
I am name dropping. I mean, they're just awesome people. But I was going to a birthday dinner for Melissa Spinell up in Scranton, so it was like a 2-hour drive. Just to go have dinner. And they were all going to Sizzle, and they were like, "Are you going?" I'm like, "No." I said, "It's too late." I said, "Deadline's passed." I said, "No, today's the last day." So they worked on me the whole night, and I had 2 hours to drive home. And I said, "It's really expensive." I said, $700. I got flight, room, food. And Grace was like, "Well, I'll share my food money, and I'll help you." Like, it's not that. I said, I don't know. I had really, truly lost my passion. Things had happened in my life for probably 2 years. I was just basically barely maintaining directorship. Every 3 months, I got my $5,000 in, so I could keep it holding on. And so I thought about it on the way home and was calling them, and they were like, they actually, while we were at dinner, checking out a flight. You can get on this flight. You can't get on our flight, but you can get on the flight, and there's room in our room. You can stay with us. So the whole way home, I'm like, all right. I got home, I think, at 11:59. I was probably the very last person to register for Sizzle. I did get a prize. I was really expecting it. I went on and made my flight arrangements. I couldn't get on their flight. So I was like, "Oh, that's okay. I'm not averse to traveling by myself." And it was cheaper to fly out of Baltimore, take a puddle jumper to Philly, and then Philly to Minneapolis. So got to the airport. We were in a little puddle jumper, and I was sitting on the aisle. And then the stewardess came up, and she said, "Would you mind moving over?" So I moved over, and then she came back, and she's carrying all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, this guy walks up. And as he got closer, I could see he was a double amputee. And I was like, "Oh, that must be why she wanted me to move over so we could, get in easier and stuff." And she gave him all his stuff, and he introduced himself, and I automatically assumed he was in the military and, had some sort of accident. And instead, when he was 18, he had a car accident, and one of the legs got severed. The other one he kept for a while, and then they ended up amputating it, so he was a double amputee because the other leg never healed. And his name is Scott Grigsby, and we talked the whole time on the plane, and he actually gave me his book and signed it and stuff, and his book's called Unthinkable, and it's a really raw story about his journey and how he got to where he did. He ended up completing the Ironman competition in Hawaii, and I don't know if you guys know what Ironman is, but it's a 2.4-mile swim, 112-mile bike, and a 26.2-mile run. He had never swum, he had never ridden a bike, and he never ran with his double amputee legs. He had never done that. So we talked the whole time, like on the plane, and then we actually ended up flying out into 2 different places, but in the same terminal. So I kind of helped him get to where he needed to get a lot of stuff. And from the plane rides from Philly to Minneapolis, I read his whole book. And there was a lot of things in there that really spoke to me, and the only person that was in my way was myself. And he was able to overcome, he didn't know how to ride a bike, he didn't know how to run, he didn't know how to swim, and he was able to, and people along the way were always telling me, especially his father, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this, and he just, plugged on through. And we got to Sizzle, and one of our speakers was a single amputee. And so the whole time, she basically spoke about a lot of the stuff like in his book, because she had been through the same trial and tribulations. And I'm crying in my eyes. And just like, oh my God. And And then it kind of hit me. I'm like, certain things kind of happen for a reason. I couldn't fly with the people that wanted me to fly with. It was like I was destined to sit next to Scott, and he talked to me and gave me his book, and there was just a lot of, wisdom in there. When I went to Sizzle, I had one show on the calendar, September. And one of the things that depressed me a lot, personally, is that I hadn't made a trip in a while. Because, they're fabulous. It's just, they treat you so well, and my family loves it. And I wanted to get there. So I had one show on the calendar, and I got an accountability partner. Dad, I don't know that. Is you? Yes. Oh, sure, that's fine. And accountability was there. Actually, I had quite a few people, but I ended up making San Diego in the beginning of December, and I had a snowball's chance in hell to make it. There was no way I was making it. But it was really because, and at our little teen time, we talked, and I said, my business, I suck. I really suck. But Darla never gave up on me, and she knew I had that potential to. I can tell. It's just I needed to get out of my own way, but Sizzle was something else.
Yeah. And I think what was really amazing to all of us that you were the first person to speak at our teen time and just said, I got to tell you guys, I didn't want to be here. And because of some friends encouraging me, I'm here. And she told us the last minute details and things like that. And then she said, and I had this amazing plane ride. And so we were, most of us were in tears, weren't we? And it was like they went my whole agenda, but it was it really was because we got love.
Yeah.
And I think that's sometimes what you need to do. And tell us a little bit about where your business is now. Because Lori's an advanced director.
I have a small team. Thank you. I've actually been a director since year 2. I got pretty lucky right out of the bat. My second recruit ended up being an elite seller. She's phenomenal, and she's recruited only accidentally because she does so many shows.
And love her though.
Yeah.
Andrea lead.
And so
wow.
So she was my second recruit, and like I said, I've been very fortunate to be involved with a lot of different groups. And Terry Katolik actually kind of took me under her wing about a year in, because I met her down in Baltimore, because I wasn't getting a whole lot of support from my outline director, not Darla, but my outline director. And she actually let me go to her Step Up Director program, which was an hour and a half each way, and she was freaking way down in Maryland. But, she does.
I was about to be like, where does she live in Maryland?
Suburban. And, she brought me in, helped me with my Step Up, showed me how to do it, and I ended up promoting because of her. And I was always a casual recruiter, but I had fun at my shows, and, people would join and stuff. And I did TPC a couple times, and, I made the upper level trips and stuff, but, my word this year is intentional, because I have not been intentional with recruiting. And I know that that's where, I can't carry the 5,000, it's ridiculous. And I have 2 little firecrackers right now on my team that basically signed up without me knowing, kind of. I actually didn't know. They just kind of signed up, and they were just like little firecrackers. So it's sort of renewed my excitement, too. And I had a bang up February that I'm going to be probably maybe level 3 Disney. For sure, level 2 Disney. But my business is really good.
And your team is
moving
and producing and doesn't want it. We all know that as team members, they're never going to do anything because they don't get it, and their passion isn't deep enough. So we're going to talk about ways to help with that too. But Lori, I just need you to know how I'm going to start crying. How proud I am of you because I know. Thank you. I know where you were. We had long conversations, and during the couple of years before that, and she had taken on a second job. Her husband had lost a job or was in between jobs, and some of you know what that's like. So I felt her pain, and I couldn't renew her passion. You can't renew your team's passion, but you can be there to support them. And at that moment, that's all I could do was support and encourage. And I did know it was inside her. But, short of going over and kicking her in the hiney, there was nothing we could do. But
and when I first started, I was only doing a show every other month. So, don't even give up on those teams, because something in their life would change. And that's what happened for me. I started this when I owned a business, a craft store, and then 9/11 came, and nobody was buying that kind of stuff anymore, and I was like, I need to make my car payment. I just stepped up. I can check business a little bit. I can make my car payment and stay home with my daughter, and it was my excuse to get out, too. I mean, she was 2 years old, and I was tired of, people needing my help in the bathroom. So, I was going out to shows with adults and using big words and longer sentences and stuff.
So all of us have been there.
Yeah, and now I get away because she's a raging ball of hormones, and she's going to be 13. So,
But you've pulled yourself back up by the bootstraps and doing remarkable things. So I'm very proud of you. Thank you so much for sharing that.